everyone. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Hope you've had a great day. Hope you've had a great week so far. Thanks for tuning in, wherever you're tuning in from. My name is Sean Miller, Hipster Viz Ninja, and this is Data to Dashboard, where we basically go literally, as the name suggests, we go from data to dashboard in about 60 minutes, and we're going to cover a Workout Wednesday challenge and see how far we get, and learn a little bit about Tableau along the way. So yeah, let's just dive right in. What do you say? I think we'll go with the hex head bubble today. So if we look at this dashboard, let's go down here and let's take a look at the embedded one here. So we've got sales, and you can see here we've got total sales versus filtered sales. So you can see here we've got start date and end date. We've got order year, region, manufacturer, and customer. And so we'll be able to filter to all of these things. We'll be able to filter to different dates, and then we'll be able to see on the dashboard, we'll be able to see that particular subcategory's sales filtered and the unfiltered, and then we'll kind of be able to do that kind of thing. So that's what we're going to go build. Sound good? Hey Rudy, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for tuning in all the way from Nashville. Great to see you. Not too far away, Kansas City. So glad to have you along. So let's dive into Tableau here. We're just going to use the Superstore data source. All right. So what we need to do is, hey Tim, good to see you. Good to hear from you. So what we need, okay, so that's another interesting thing. So we're going to be sorting by the overall total, right? And for our data source, we're going to be overall sorting by that, but so it's going to be sorted by the overall. So that's a good thing to know as well. Okay. Let's see here. Let's just make sure we've got, so we've got sales. We want this to be currency, no decimal places, just like that. And how do we want to do it? Well, we know that we're going to have subcategory out here, so let's pull subcategory out onto rows. And let's do total sales here, and let's sort this descending. And what I need to do is also, we need to create a calculated, what are we going to do first? Let's set up our filters here. So we have customer name, manufacturer, and region. So customer name, region, manufacturer, customer name, manufacturer, region, and year of order date. So let's highlight all of these pills. Let's right click and not do anything. I thought I could multi-drag. Nope. Okay. So let's pull that into here. Use all. So let's think about keystrokes. Let's think about mouse miles. If that's a term you're familiar with. Basically, how many clicks? How much do you have to move your mouse in order to get the result you want? Right. So if I were to drag this, I gotta go. So there's one movement, 2, 3. Okay. The other option, let's go to region. Let's right click, show filter. Boom. Let's manufacturer. Boom. And what was the other one? Oh, order date, show filter. And 4 years. There we go. All right, awesome. So we got all of those added there. All right, so now if I were to start filtering some of these, you can start to see how some of these move, right? Well, if I don't have, so if I do 2022 and we just look at 3M and we just look in the East, I guess the other thing we should probably do is make all of these filters relevant values. There we go. So you can kind of start to see it moving there, which is nice. Okay. We also know that these are going to be small. Or these are smaller, I should say. So that's filtering, right? And so that's good. But now what we actually need to do is we need to figure out a way to keep these to be. We need to figure out how to. So this is going to be our filtered sales, right? But now we need to figure out a way to make this. We need to figure out a way to make the overall total, right? So there's a couple of ways to do it. So let's do, this is going to be overall sales. And let's just try to see what happens. Okay, great. All right, so it is the overall data source. Got it. Okay, so let's do overall sales. And obviously we know one of the options is just do a fixed level of detail, right? So we'll do fixed, but we need to fix it on the subcategory. So fixed category, sum of sales. So for each category, total up the sum of sales, right? That's what we're going to be doing first off. Click OK. Now, what you'll notice as I start okay. So let's edit this, because what's happening, you can see it's actually like starting to move things around on this, on the overall sales, and that's not what I want. That's not what I want to do. So let's go to overall sales. And let's do exclude customer name, region, manufacturer, and year of order date. Nope, still doing that, okay. So let's do why is this not working? I know that this is going to be a fixed. Now the other thing that I could do is I could change all these into sets, right? Maybe? I don't know if I want to do that yet. So we'll do fixed on subcategory sum of sales. Now, from what I understand about the order of operations, is that a fixed level of detail happens before dimension filters. So I'm not entirely sure why. Oh, I know why. I had it right. It's because my sort on subcategory is set to this filtered sum of sales. So that's why you're seeing this one move. It's not really being filtered, it's just changing the order. So what we need to do is we need to go over here And we need to change our sort from the filtered sales to the overall sales. And right here. Now, watch what happens whenever I start filtering things, right? There we go. That looks more like it. Now that's looking a lot better. I'm pleased with that. Okay. So, let's do a little bit of formatting here. Again, we had it right. What we had to do though is we had to figure out we had to sort our dimension the right way, right? So let's do, we want it to be a bar, but we want it to be bigger than our other bar, right? And we also want it to be really, really gray, right? And I think she provided some, yeah, okay. So we'll do that. There we go. But then what it also said, it looks like one of the other things is you can actually filter to a specific date range, right? So you can do start date, end date. There we go. Yeah, let's do that. So we need to have we need to do not that. We need to do parameter start date, and it's going to be a date, and she has it starting on and then we'll do end date. So we'll just duplicate this, make this end, edit, make this an end date, and this will be 12/31/2024. And then we'll create a date filter, which is order date is greater than or equal to the start date, and order date is less than or equal to the end date. Just like that. And we'll put that in here as well. There we go. And we'll have this on the entire data source. We need all these because we're going to have a KPI sheet, or we're going to have a top total bar, right? Which I think we can actually... So she uses 2 sheets, but I think we can just do it on 1 sheet if we do analysis. Well, let's do totals, and we want that total. That's why, because we don't want it. We don't want we want a different scale. So that makes sense. Okay, so yeah, we do want these to be on the entire data source. So that's something to keep in mind whenever you're doing subtotals and grand totals and all that kind of thing as part of a bar chart, or as part of a chart, not necessarily as a crosstab or a table, right? So just kind of be aware of those things. Totals and grand totals, when you're doing sums, are going to they're going to throw off your scale, and that makes sense, right? So the overall grand total is going to way overperform the rest of your inner dimensions, right? So, um, so yeah, just kind of keep that in mind whenever you're building stuff. All right, so let's clean this a little bit. Let's clean this up a little bit. Whoop. I wanted to do hide there. And now we'll format this and we'll get rid of the dividers. Just like that. Boom, boom, boom. Do we have a scale? We do have a scale. That's great. We don't have grid lines, but we have a 0 line just like that. I think I do want column grid lines at least. I like this better. It makes I can follow it a lot easier. Okay. And the other thing is, what are we gonna do here? Oh, here's a nice little trick. Sometimes I don't necessarily like that there's this sort icon down here, because it provides opportunities for end users to click on something that they didn't necessarily mean to, or I don't want them to. Like, I don't want you to sort this any other way. I don't want you to sort it alphabetically. I don't want you to sort it descending. I want you to stick with the defaulted sort that I've published with. So the way that you can control that is if you go up here to worksheet and you uncheck show sort controls, you can see here that little histogram went away. And there is no way for your end users to change the sort of a bar chart. So that could be really nice too. So we'll call this subcat bar. Let's do that. Subcat bar. And duplicate. And now I'll just remove my subcategory. Oh, and I need to change overall sales format to currency. There we go. All right. Let's see. Let's go ahead and make this, so this is total sales. Filtered sales versus total sales. And we'll do Tableau semi-bold, Tableau light, 10. Filtered sales is blue. Total sales is gray. There we go. And then we'll come in here and we'll do this is subcategory sales. Actually, what we can do is make it easy. Let's just copy all this. And then we'll just change this to subcategory sales. There we go. There we go. Looks good to me. Let's see what else we can do. On the smaller bars, we can actually build in a white border. Oh no, not that. Ooh, yuck. But we can add a white border to kind of help it pop a little bit more. There we go. All right, let's build out this dashboard, which is gonna take into account the some padding, and it looks like we have a breadcrumb here, which is really nice too. So let's figure out how to do that. So I think this is going to be a sheet, and customer name. Let's figure out how they do that. Let's think about this for a minute before we just go building things. So what happens if I clear all of the... Okay, so I've got all those, but I take... Let's see what this filter does. Okay. Interesting. Okay, well... So if I do... detail... and I do customer name here... Oh, okay, and then I come over here and I do... And then I go over here. Okay, perfect. All right, great. So here's a nice. So yeah, this little breadcrumb trick. It's pretty legit. So we're just gonna add all of these to detail, and then we're just gonna put them all, and then we're gonna create a title here, right? So if we look at this, so we have, yeah, so customer name, manufacturer, year of order date, region, and then what we'll do is we will add our end date and add our start date. Then we'll edit our we'll edit this, and now I can do filters, and it looks like it's medium, this is a 12. There we go, something like this. So customer name, manufacturer, and then we just insert the field values into this. So we have customer name, manufacturer, region, year of, so order, yeah, order year, and order date range. And this is gonna be for start date. Oh yeah, I guess I didn't need to add it to detail. Start date through end date. There we go. Now, so we have our breadcrumb, which is amazing. It's awesome. I love it. right? Now, if I go back here and I just put everything back to all, everything goes back to all, right? Now I've got all this, I've got all these marks here, right? How do we get rid of these marks? How do we get rid of each one of these little squares? Well, here's my other little tip or trick for you. Let's go down to automatic. Let's see if this works. It works on other sheets. We'll see if it works on this. I'm going to change it to a polygon. Boom! It's all gone. All your marks are gone, and you get no tooltip, which is awesome. So polygon chart is great, yeah, you should definitely think about that. Filter criteria. There we go. Now I think we're ready to build some okay, yeah, so we'll do end date or edit this to be a range, min max. Oh, fill orders. Yes, there we go. Edit. Range, min max. Order date. There we go. Step size 1 day. Step size 1 day. There we go. Okay. Now let's go build a dashboard. So we've got 1,000 by 800, I believe is what it said. Yep. Let's make it look like this. So let's do a floating container, a floating horizontal container. It's positioned at 0, 0. It's 1,000 width and 800 height. We're going to format the background to be dark. And we're going to put 10 pixels of padding, 10 pixels of inner padding on this. Now, let's go back to tiled, and now let's throw that in there. And I think actually we're going to want 20 pixels of padding here. There we go. Ah, that looks better. Okay. This is going to be 0. But I don't think I need that anymore. Okay. Let's see. So we're going to have a vertical, 2 verticals in this horizontal here. So I've got a vertical here, and I've got a vertical here. I'll take this blank and I'll put it in one of these verticals, and then I'll get another blank and I'll put it into another vertical. And then I'll take this guy, this vertical container, or I'll take, this one, and I'll fit the width to, what's that look like? Let's start at 200 pixels. That looks pretty good. And this one I actually want to be really, really large. I want it to fill up the rest of the space. So I don't think I need to necessarily do that. But within this vertical one, we're going to do the subcategory bar and the subcategory total. Now this sheet are going to have, it's going to be white sheets, right? So we do a background of white. But now what I need to do is I need to add, and did you see what happened here? Whenever I added these sheets, it automatically added all of my filters into that 200 width container that I already had placed out there. So what we're going to do now is we're going to add, we don't want any outer padding because we want those to be right up against the 20 pixels of padding. But we do want some inner padding because we don't want them necessarily right up against the borders here. So, and we want this one to be more than that. Let's do, what's 200 look like? Too big, I think. So let's do 175. That looks better. All right, but now to get those to get the inner pad, we're gonna do here. We're gonna do 10 pixels on this side. We're gonna do this filter container. We'll get rid of our blank now. Whoop. There we go. This filter container is also going to have 10 pixels of padding on this side. So now we've got 10 pixels of padding on this side, which equals 10 pixels of padding on this side, which is equal to the 20 pixels of padding we have around the whole border. So we'll just do this on the top here, and we'll do it on the bottom here. Next thing that we're going to do is we're going to turn all of this filter panel to that light blue color that she had, right? This color right here. So we'll do EDF0 F6. EDF0 F6. There we go. That looks good. I'm not gonna mess with a. I'm not gonna necessarily mess with a logo that she asked us to do. So not gonna do that. But oh, we need our. All right, so we have customer name. Let's order these. Manufacturer, region, and order date, and then we have our start date and end dates. Parameter start date, parameter end date. This is going to be, show the readout, show the slider. We don't want the buttons. And we want to edit the height of this to make them, there we go, how about 50? That looks good. So we'll do the same thing. Customize, no buttons, customize, edit height, 50. There we go. All right, now we need to add, let's add in our filter sheet down here. And let's do entire view. Look at that. Let's make this a little bit higher. Let's do 175. There it is. So we have our order date range. We got order year, region, customer, and all that. That's good. Very good. All right. Now we can do multi-select drop down, multi-select drop down, multi-select drop down, multi-select drop down. Make these, we want to show the apply button on all these. And then what do we want to do? We want to do looks like. Okay, so let's do I'm going to do a vertical container. I'm going to put all these filters in here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute evenly. Now the next thing we have is a text box. And we're going to do click a filter to alter the view. And then we'll do like something like that. And then let's see. Let's set some default order. There we go. So let's do it that. Okay. So there you go. I think that pretty much covers it. So we got nice padding, and we got nice padding around all of our containers. We've got a filtered blue bar with the total overall bar here. We've got a date slider. We've got a bunch of filters that we can add, and we've created a nice little filter breadcrumb table or sheet. That again, we did it just by adding all of the dimensions to detail and changing it to a polygon to not have any marks on it and no tooltip, which is really nice. It's a really nice thing. Now, something to keep in mind. Even though you don't see any chart type, any tooltip, anything like that, if you look down here, it's still showing 7,528 marks. So, just remember, the more marks you add to a sheet, the harder Tableau is going to work to create that sheet, even if it's just putting everything on detail. It's still a separate select star from table in the database. So you're still asking Tableau to do quite a bit. So thankfully, Superstore is about 10,000 rows-ish, I think. What is it? I don't even know. 8, yeah. So it's 8,100 rows, right? So not that big, but I'm sure a lot of your, if your data is anything like my data, you usually have quite a bit more than 8,100 records on bringing into Tableau, right? So just keep that in mind when you're doing those kind of breadcrumbs, because you're still asking Tableau to do quite a bit. So, but with that, I think we'll call that one good. So with that, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out. Please tune in next week. We'll do this again every Friday around this time. And yeah, go forth and viz.